Not much has changed in 51 years.
You guys want to be outside?
It's all the same, from the wood paneling to the stained glass lamps.
Here's to Ricky and Bobby.
Here's to the Raven.
The Raven.
There's a lot of memories here and a lot of history.
And the original menu, it's weird. What is it, a hamburger was 70 cents? Same one we serve today.
Ricky Dunnington opened the Raven with his twin brother Bobby back in 1968.
That's a picture of us back in the 70s.
They were 21 years old.
Draft beer was a quarter, canned beer was 35 cents.
Today they're both 72 and ready to close this chapter of their lives.
This actually will not be a restaurant any longer. The people that bought it also bought the hotel across the street.
Cheryl Weinberger has worked at the Raven for more than 8 years after starting on her birthday.
I've heard everything from this is where we had our dinner after we got married to that's the booth that you'd break up with your girlfriend in, and that's the booth that you got a new girlfriend in.
For loyal customers, this place is a big part of their lives.
How long have you been coming here?
Oh.
It's probably
Since it opened.
Probably
since 70.
70.
They said it's about more than the food, it's about the memories. But they're glad the owners, their longtime friends, are ready to enjoy their golden years.
365 days a year for 51 years. I think it's time for a little vacation. That's good.
It's bittersweet. I know that they're ready to relax. So, and I don't blame them. 51 years is a long time to do anything.
The Raven is shutting its doors for good on Friday.
No regrets. It's been a lot of fun. It's time to move on.
Dana Smith, 13 News Now. Take a look at this. Garbage covering the sand at the beach at Ocean Park.
I took these this morning.
How bad was it?
It was really bad. It was a disaster.
Hundreds of people flocked to the area on Sunday for Floatopia, a day of fun floating in the Chesapeake Bay on boats and floats. But they left all this trash behind.
It was an absolute madhouse. The beach, you couldn't even hardly tell where the beach ended. There were so many people.
Locals in the area said they were disgusted the beachgoers left so much garbage on the sand.
Looking at this video and kind of seeing all this garbage,
That's crazy.
Is this what it was like yesterday, and is this shocking?
Yes, with about 4,000 people surrounding it and adding to it. Yeah, it was crazy. But, it's mostly 20-somethings, and they're having fun. It'd be nice if they cleaned up after themselves.
So who cleaned it up? A crew of just 9 people from Virginia Beach Public Works. They collected 10 tons of garbage.
The thing that amazes me is, one, they did as fast as they did, and 2, they got 10 tons. In fact, when they said 10 tons, I said, repeat that? You got 10 tons of trash? That's a lot of trash.
Public Works' Drew Langford said the usual beach cleaning crews got to the area around 6:30 a.m. and saw the mess. They collected cans, bottles, food wrappers, abandoned floats, and towels, and had the area back to normal by about 9 a.m.
But it does look beautiful. I can't believe the turnaround. I didn't know what I was going to see first thing in the morning the day after.
Langford said this isn't the first time the beach has been messy after Floatopia, but it's definitely the worst. Dana Smith, 13 News Now. There's a new presidential candidate on the scene. Well, sort of.
Lord Roland Watson Belden Maxwell VIII, better known as Junior or JR, and he's America's biggest bunny.
Although animals can't really become president, Junior is embarking on a nationwide campaign to raise awareness about what people should know before they buy an exotic animal.
We happen to have a campaign bus, so in 2020, Junior and I are going to hit the road, and we're going to use the fact that Junior's running for president to go from rescue to rescue and shelter to shelter.
Director of Exotic Animal Rescue, the Bunny Hutch, Dr. Angela Maxwell, says far too often people adopt exotic animals and abandon them or mistreat them. At the Bunny Hutch, there's snakes, chinchillas, exotic reptiles, and even a fox. All rescues.
He was purchased because the guy thought he'd act like a dog. He acts like a fox. You can go to a pet expo anywhere in the United States and pick up anything, and I mean anything. We've had everything here except for sloth.
Dr. Maxwell and her 5-year-old, 3'8", 25-pound bunny aren't doing it alone. Junior has his very own first lady in 11-year-old Johanna Baker.
To spread an awareness that you can't just get an animal, you have to know what it's going to be like to have that animal.
The Bunny Hutch will shut its doors for good in December, but Dr. Maxwell says Junior's upcoming campaign is another way for her to continue her mission.
With Junior static, it was hard to reach millions of people.
Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
A little human.
Karen Cahan has worn acrylic nails for years, but she didn't realize those nails were the source of pain.
They would have this tightness, as if someone were to put a rubber band around your fingernail. That's literally what it felt like.
She's talking about the type of acrylic she used, methyl methacrylate, or MMA, a substance so strong it's used in concrete, joint replacements, and dental work.
MMA is actually used to make bulletproof glass, plexiglass.
Some salons also use it on your nails for acrylic sets.
There's a great deal that consumers do not know about nail salons.
Nail technician Deoncia DeBerry says MMA can cause severe skin reactions and permanent nail damage.
Rip, torn, and bleeding. Also, it can lead to nail deformalities where the nail would no longer grow back the same.
In the 1970s, the FDA received a litany of complaints about MMA. The agency oversaw recalls, but there's no specific regulation prohibiting the use of MMA in cosmetic products.
Well, you still see a lot of salons using it because it is a cheaper product.
Cheaper than the safer alternative, ethyl methacrylate, or EMA.
For this amount, I paid $6, and for this amount, it's a 6 ounce of EMA, it was $22.
The FDA said in its report there was no fingernail damage or deformity associated with the use of EMA.
Didn't even know the difference until I experienced a difference.
There are telltale signs that a salon is using MMA.
They drill. Incessant.
And products may lack labels.
It is a generic looking bottle and generic label.
MMA also has a noticeable chemical odor that can be irritating.
Oh, very strong.
MMA will set extremely hard with little flexibility, and removing it is difficult.
I didn't know it was a difference in between the acrylics.
Kertisha Farmer got MMA acrylic nails a month ago. Her acetone soak-off took more than 2 hours.
It's actually very hard. It's sticky at this point. It's a slimy consistency.
EMA, on the other hand, only took a few minutes.
It just crumbles and the product removes much easier.
However, the biggest indicator that MMA is being used is the price.
If you're paying $10, $20 less per service, it's a red flag for certain.
Around 30 states specifically prohibit the use of MMA in nail products, including North Carolina. Virginia only orders salons to not use any products in a manner that is disapproved by the FDA and to not use products that are banned by the FDA. However, local cities have acted. For example, MMA is prohibited under the Virginia Beach Department of Public Health Barbering and Cosmetology, which means nail salons cannot have it on the premises. Dana Smith, 13 News Now. Chesapeake resident Johnny Lundy started taking a new blood pressure medication 5 months ago.
This is Losartan, and I think I was taking one pill per day or 2 pills per day.
He had a stroke in January.
I remember going in that door in the hospital, and then I don't remember what happened after that.
He's been recovering ever since, taking a combination of prescriptions.
I'm taking 7 medicines in the morning and 7 medicines at night.
His medication, Losartan, however, is one of several other blood pressure drugs that have been voluntarily recalled by pharmaceutical companies over concerns an impurity in it can cause cancer. Medications valsartan and orbisartan are also on the list.
What's the real risk? So if you have losartan at home, and the question is, are you really going to develop cancer?
That's the question on many people's minds.
I would say that in some ways it's a lot of hullabaloo, but nobody's actually died or gotten cancer. It's a theoretical risk.
Centera doctor David Barron says not taking your recalled blood pressure medication could cause more immediate harm than just staying on it.
Don't just stop your medications. With the 1 in a million chance that maybe after 20 years there might be a risk of cancer, Whereas today, tomorrow, this week, you might have a stroke if you have high blood pressure out of control.
If you took a maximum dose over a period of your lifetime, only 1 in 8,000 people would even have an issue. So that should be reassuring.
Chesapeake Regional Medical Center pharmacist Debbie Bill quoted a statistic from the FDA, which tested the theoretical risk of patients developing cancer if they took the highest dose of valsartan. The FDA said, quote, most patients who were exposed to the impurity received less exposure than this worst-case scenario.
Don't stop your medication because that could be more detrimental than continuing on with the product.
The recall is only affecting generic brands of the drugs which were manufactured overseas in China. Dr. Barron explained most generic manufacturers share chemicals, which is why the recall is so widespread. But the reality is most patients can't afford brand name medications.
I can't just tell the patient who's on a generic drug, well, just go to the brand name. If they could, they would have already probably been on that branded drug.
It seemed that there's always an issue behind this lower cost medication. And I don't think that as Americans, I don't feel that it's the right thing to do. But it's what we have, so like they say, we got to keep taking it.
The FDA recommends patients continue taking their medication until their pharmacists or doctors provide an alternative, even if that medication has been recalled. Dana Smith, 13 News Now. It's a permanent tribute to the city they love and a symbol that carries a lot of weight.
I was there and witnessed most of it, everything.
Heather Lindley works on the 3rd floor of Building 2 at the Virginia Beach Municipal Center. As the gunman opened fire, she hid behind a filing cabinet, hoping he wouldn't see her.
He did almost see me. I was going to go to the bathroom and I didn't know anything happened, and then saw him shoot into an office, and I ran behind the file cabinet and just stayed there.
She got a blue anchor tattooed on her arm, a sign of stability and hope, and a reminder of what she survived and the co-workers she mourns.
To me, it really hits close to home. Sitting here talking with employees that were in Building 1 or Building 2, talking to, EMS and, police officers. We've been able to tattoo the police officer who had to notify all the victims' families.
Sandbridge tattoo owner Tommy Altman said Heather isn't the only survivor his team has seen. So far, they've tattooed hundreds of people.
That's tender.
And raised more than $12,000.
We just feel like in a time of tragedy like this, the community has to come together in order to start the healing process.
100% of the proceeds will go to the United Way to help survivors and the victims' families.
It doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. It's the most selfless thing to do. Oh, there it is.
In Virginia Beach, Dana Smith, 13 News Now. Widespread devastation across the Abaco Islands after Hurricane Dorian slammed into the Bahamas as a Category 5 storm. Utility poles are down, streets are flooded, and the roof of this building destroyed.
The scariest part is that this storm is just sitting on the island. It's moving very, very slowly, I think 1 or 2 miles per hour. So people are concerned about how long this is going to linger around and how much flooding is going to happen.
Bahamian journalist Kyle Joaquin is in Freeport, Grand Bahama. He says flooding is a major concern as a lot of the islands have low-lying areas, and Dorian is bringing torrential rain and strong storm surge.
There are people in East Grand Bahama and West End who are dealing with extensive flooding. I mean, flooding up to their roofs, people having to run up to the second story of their homes. We're getting reports of people standing on their kitchen counters, putting their kids in kitchen cupboards.
Some homes are submerged underwater, while others remain under the threat of rising water.
Yeah, Abaco really got the brunt of Dorian. It's devastating. You can't even put it into words. And the sad part is a lot of them had to find shelter overnight. And so can you imagine running around in the dark, trying to figure out where you're going? Your home is been destroyed.
Bahamian Prime Minister Hubert Minnis said on Twitter, the devastation in Abaco is unprecedented, and Grand Bahamians are still feeling the impact. The focus for the government right now, he said, is rescue, recovery, and prayer. Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
Yeah, watch your steps around here, please.
Construction crews gave the media a behind-the-scenes look at the new S.B. Ballard Stadium at Old Dominion University.
What's up, Keith? All
And they say it's almost finished.
You're in the 90%? 90-95%?
They are still working, painting and installing fixtures, but officials say the facility will be ready for game day.
Yeah, it's been stated. We're going to be ready to play on August 31st.
One of the biggest changes, fans will be a few meters closer to the game as the running track that once wrapped around the field is gone.
What I really like is the fact that both sideline sets of stands are 10 yards closer than the old Foreman Field. So the spectators are right on top of the playing field.
The field was completed and signed off on last Friday.
The new turf is ready for play.
And you guys feel free to walk across the field too.
And more than 21,000 seats are installed. The stadium has more than 7 concession stands, new bathroom facilities, and a new audio and video board system.
These seats as well have the cup holders. Nice little added feature to hold your drinks.
There's elevators, air-conditioned suites, and updated media boxes.
The windows in front of you, they slide open. They slide open in 2 at a time.
Game day is 17 days away.
Yes, we will be open for business on August the 31st at 7 o'clock when we take on Norfolk State here at SB Ballard Stadium.